We are live.
Hello, hello, hello.
We made it.
Oh, we just
still
started.
operating. We're just starting. Hi, welcome. We welcome you all to the first ever, one of a kind, 30-hour Stream-a-thon. Wow. Jill, what were we thinking? What were we thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. But go ahead and introduce yourself, Leon. Come on, let's get this started.
Hi, I'm Leon Seaman. I'm the executive director here at Adventure Theater MTC.
Oh, okay, great. I'm Margo Brenner-Collins, and I'm the education director at ATMTC. And I'm really excited to be here and to get this started, and also to see Chill be awake for 30 hours. It's going to be fun for everybody.
Oh, it's like a grand experiment. Hi, my name is Cho Kong, and I'm the artistic director here at Adventure Theater. And what we're doing right now is to just kind of start prepping to give you guys an easy way into the stream, into the 30 hours. We're going to talk about how we got here, why we decided on this crazy 30-hour idea, but also I think one of the things we want to just say is, so Leon and Margo, what did you prepare for this 30 hours? What did you do today that it started?
Go ahead, Margo.
I prepared snacks for my family so that they're good to go, so that I can be here in another room.
Yeah, I had a long, tearful goodbye with my kids. They were like, "What? We're not going to see you till Tuesday?" Well, I mean, we're not going till Tuesday, but they'll be asleep by the time we finish on Monday. So I am not going to see my kids till Tuesday. And they're like, "Don't go." So, what kind of parent am I? I made my kids cry. But we're all going to have fun together.
And Chill, what did you do besides visit a doctor to make sure that it's safe for you to be awake this long?
Well, are you kidding me? All the doctors were like, "What are you thinking?" Because you saw my neurologist friend, who is like this bigwig sleep therapist, Dr. Morris Chang, I talked to him just goofingly said, "Hello, so I'm doing the Stream-a-thon for 30 hours." He's like, "What? What? Are you nuts?" It's like, "You're gonna destroy your sleeping habits. What's going on?" So he actually gave me a couple of really important pointers, which was, if you can do something crazy like this, you can't bank sleep. So he said you can't just go to sleep 10 hours more and then think that's going to help you for the 30. The other thing too is, but afterwards you can do extra amounts of sleep to help you recover, because you do have to recover with extra sleep. So he said, just do your regular sleeping habits, your regular morning rituals on the day of, and then get yourself in. Ooh, so sometime soon, Mary, one of our board members, is going to join us. But I think we do need to just kind of explain all the things that's happening today, right? So Leah, can you just tell everybody about the clickbit and then donations,
Sure.
How to do all that, the mechanics of this?
So let's be pretty straightforward and blunt about this, and we're going to say this a lot. And actually, I don't know if we can put the text thing up, but we're here to raise money. That's what we're here to do. We're going to have a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. We're going to meet a lot of neat people, but we're here to raise money. Adventure Theater has been around almost 70 years. Can you believe that? We're going to go into our 70th anniversary next year, and we want to make sure that we're there. So, everybody knows that the pandemic has shut us down since March 15th, 2020. We're almost on the 1-year anniversary of not having been able to welcome people to our theater or into our classrooms. We've been doing a lot, and we'll talk about that over the course of the day, to fill that time and to still have impact on people. But, money's tight. So what we're looking for today is we're trying to raise $100,000, which, we know we can get there, because everyone's going to be excited to make any kind of donation, whether it's $5 or $50 or $5,000. We know you're going to help us get there. The way to do that is text adventure to 56651. We're going to say that at least 100,000 times between now and our 30-hour ending. But there's other things to check out once you're there. We have a really cool auction. You can see this video there too. So if you want to keep bidding while you're watching us, you don't have to choose one or the other. So it's a really great technology. And the quickest way to get there is, again, text adventure to 56651. You can also go to our homepage on our website. There's a link at the very top of our webpage, www.adventuretheater-mtc.org.
atmtc.org gets you to the same place. So atmtc.org, right?
I think that goes straight to the donation page, which is fine. But if you want to find the stream, it's on the homepage.
Clearly, we are well prepared for this. This is how we function, as you can tell. So, Margot, snacks?
I mean,
that's to preoccupy your kids, right?
Yeah. We've been virtual for a year. You're pretty aware of my kids' snack schedule, so.
Well, all the time?
All the time?
All the time. Yeah. So it seemed like the safest choice in preparation,
So people have asked me, like, how do we get here? Like, how do we get to the 30 hours? So, because we threw out other numbers before this, right? What was the first number that we threw out?
We talked 48 hours at one point.
Yeah, it was originally 48, right? And that's just because we were talking about something Herculean. Like, we need to show how much we care about our theater, and it had to be bigger than what these other people are doing. A lot of people are doing these stream-a-thons and fundraisers, but we were like, how do we prove that we should be here, and how do we prove how much we love our community, and how do we prove how much we love our theater company, right? So what was y'all's reaction when I threw that number out? Margot, what were you thinking when I first said it?
I feel like I blacked out a little bit. I feel like that's probably was my initial reaction, was 30 hours of how? Okay, sure, let's do it. Yeah, let's figure it out. Which we did, because we're here now, and there's a plan for the next 30 hours.
Yeah, it's tight for some of these things too. But Leon, like, I saw you grinning when we first threw out the idea. Like, you kind of liked it at the top. Like, what was the thing about it that you liked so much?
I liked that it was big and bold. I mean, it caught my imagination right away. Like, I was like, wow, that's awesome. Now, of course, I being of a certain age, I still remember the Jerry Lewis telethons and watching those with my parents and being like, ooh, who gets to be Jerry? And then you drew the short straw, so I at least know I get a sleeping break at some point.
Yeah, it was that whole thing. Like, well, you thought of it.
Well, you also clearly have the most friends that would come bother you in the middle of the night. I don't have a lot of friends. You could have
just stopped with the most friends. That would have been fine.
It was like a dig.
Well, it's true. It's true. That was a big part of the discussion. It's like, well, when it's dark and everybody here is sleeping, there are other people in the world that will come log in to bother chill. That was part of the discussion, right? I don't know those people.
At this point, I don't even know anymore. Like, I don't even know at this point how we kind of got here. That's the weird thing about this. It's like, all of a sudden, I was like, we're on this train, and it was like 30 hours to it. Because I think even because discussion to 30 was weird too. So, but this is another reminder. This is a fundraiser for Adventure Theater. Please donate if you can. Are worth to you live for 30 hours. Now, this is those that we're doing as technology our stream. We can only do breaks. So we have to make sure that we're doing this right and that each segment doesn't get wonked out or anything like that. We need to make sure that we have these 2-hour segments, right? So that each 2 hour, we do a handoff. Apparently, I'm breaking up a little bit.
You are.
Oh, darn it. Huh.
So that's the other thing. Is we're in 3 different locations. Just for this very, very reason. Hi, Mary.
4. Welcome, Mary.
Mary. So, she popped in and popped out. Chill is in Glen Echo. He's on the stage. He's got the green screen going. I'm at Wintergreen. And by the way, if you want to wave at me through the window on the 2nd floor of Wintergreen Plaza in Rockville, Maryland, if we have a corner of the screen, we may put you into the feed at some point. And Margot is hiding somewhere in her house from her family.
Yeah, if you're gonna wave into the window to Leon, just sing it. Dear Evan Hansen style would be great.
Yeah. Waving through the window. Mary!
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. So let's get to since Leon, I think you've known her the longest. Could you do our introduction for Mary?
Oh, wow.
Sure. Mary Slimp is a board member extraordinaire. She's been with us, 3 years, Mary?
I think 2 years on the board, like right now.
Awesome. And Mary has the longest streak of logging in every Sunday at 2:00 with us. So we have a 2:00 stream every Sunday. This is taking the place of that today. We weren't going to do two things. But I think have you missed any of them?
If I've missed any, it's been one or two because I had a conflict with something else. But I try to get there.
Wait, you had a conflict with something else, Mary?
Like maybe a family thing, but no, nothing. I know you're watching me, but I love it. It makes my Sunday. It's like I wake up, I do church, and then I do church again with Adventure Theater. Back in the afternoon.
The Church of Theater.
The Church
of Theater.
What's your favorite one? Or what are a couple that you liked? I don't want to put you on the spot on one specifically, but what are a couple that stick out?
But because there's such a variety, I mean, we have the story time, which I love. And then we have the Aaron Quill segments as well, which are terrific. And I learned so much about current theater. I think I sort of specialized in older sort of musicals and things, and she keeps me current. But there were some books early on that I was really into as well. And then the productions, I loved the Spanish language productions. I'm not a Spanish speaker, but I, at one point in my life, lived in Texas, and I was learning. And so it felt really kind of warm to be in that environment again. And I'm thinking of the Mariposa and the one about the wrestlers, and I can't.
Luchadora.
Luchadora.
Yes.
Luchadora. I love
think
that.
The actor who was in that, who played the Luchadora, was phenomenal. I don't know who he is.
Andrew Culpa when he put on the mask and
yes, exactly. So, but then there were great stories. There was one about a mother and a son, and the son has not Alzheimer's. He has he's on the spectrum, and that was a great story.
That was one of my favorite too.
That's Diana Lina Santos, who was on Mandalorian. She wrote a book about her son, and her son Sebastian, who is autistic, drew the pictures and illustrations. So it's really cool to see that.
The illustrations are phenomenal, and so I actually have bought each of these books, and then I donate them to the little libraries around my neighborhood. So I'm kind of spreading the word that way as well. And then I loved your piece too. So I love learning about your family and your heritage and Christmas through your eyes. So
yeah,
I've seen everything. I haven't seen it live, and I've seen it afterward, but I think I've seen everything.
Yeah. So which is why I think this is why you're such a great example of the wonderful supporters that we have in our community here, and I love coming back to, because I came back home. I came back home to where I grew up, and to just be welcomed with such amazing people like yourself, and and your community who will be donating a lot for the next 3 hours.
Right, they're going to text adventure to 56651.
Yes, don't forget.
Yeah. So ping them, Mary. Ping them.
I have been. I was sending. Oh, here's some people have pinged me back. So I have my phone right next to me. But yes.
Yeah, I think we're getting ready to go into Anthony Rapp. Am I wrong in that?
No, we're about ready for that.
So we're 1 minute away from Anthony. So this is actually a great thing to intro, because you're talking about Aaron Quill and mixing it up, who was an original Broadway company of Avenue Q, and is of mixed heritage. And so we were noticing that there were a few students within our academy who were of mixed heritage, and their issues are very different, especially going through the entertainment industry and on Broadway. And so that's why it actually became really interestingly important to hear what her experiences were, and people of mixed heritage who were on Broadway. And we happened to get some really like Tony Award winners. And so we're gonna throw to Anthony Rabbit's video, just so everybody knows. Miss Erin Quill has known Anthony Rabbit since before Rent. Let me say this again. She has known Anthony like years and years and years. I think it's going on 30 years. So they've known each other a long time. And so this was an easy conversation. I love these because we kind of get a sneak peek into listening to two friends talk to each other. But this segment is watching two longtime friends talk about kind of historical events, including this year is the 25th anniversary of Rent, which was transformative in the same way Hamilton was, right? So, or is. Hamilton is still transformative. Good Lord. All right, so we're going to roll to Anthony right now. Let's go. Yeah. So sorry. Hey. So we're having a little issue with our sound because what we have is in the same room, the video is being played on a separate computer, and the audio can't be shared. So now we'll have to figure out how to put it on another computer that's off-site. So we have 4 computers that's running the system right now, and as you can tell, like we had delay speed with my computer, so it was a little slow. And then the video that we're playing can't be played in the same room because of the audio issues. There'll be feedback. So we're trying to figure out right now. So as soon as it's ready to play, team, just go ahead and play it and then bring me in. But it needs to be played on someone else's computer. Because it can't.
I'm back.
Hey, Leon.
Hello. So what should we talk about? Should we tap dance?
Oh, you have the room to tap dance, and
I do not. You know how you can't tell because of depth perception, but I'm like right up against the screen here, and I'm a person who likes to spread out.
But you can turn your whole body, you can turn your whole body and not hit that. Step in the peak behind you.
I don't think Margot wants to hear it. I think Margot is literally like pushed up against the wall at her.
Well, she's hiding from her kids. I had to go to a different building.
She is not hiding from her kids. She is lovingly stepped away from her children so that she can spend time with us. Leon.
Right. That's right.
While you really ran away from your kids.
So I had so many bags that I brought with me to make sure I had everything that Robin really was like, you're coming back, right? You know, why wouldn't I want to come back? We've been, only locked in the house together since March 15th.
Oh,
did I mention 4 kids?
And they're fantastic. But yes, 4's a lot. Like having Liam was, I think, enough for us. We're like, that's it. So again, we're still having problems with the computer sharing. So as you can see, this is part of technology. We have now, but for our stage management team, as soon as you can start playing, just go ahead and play it. We're going to test it. Let's do the guinea pigging now. It's no big deal. So go ahead and play it. And we'll just continue talking. So keep our screens up for now until the thing plays. Yeah, we're still having audio issues. Just so until we get the audio fixed, we got to keep us on. All right. So try it again. So just keep us on and then keep testing while we're on. This is part of the live part. Okay. Yeah, just keep it on. It's fine. So hello, everybody. As you can see, this is called live.
Yep.
So Leon's going to do karaoke now, I think. Is what he's
karaoke.
That was the part we missed. Yeah, and it's gonna be
I missed that point. Was that in the original schedule?
It's in the running order. It's great.
Hello and welcome to Adventure Theater's
Yay!
fundraiser. My name is Erin Quill, and today we have a very special guest, one of my very best friends for a very long time. Honestly, half my life at this point. Ladies and gentlemen, Broadway legend, Anthony Rapp. Come on in, Anthony. Yay!
Hello, Erin. Hello, everybody.
We've known each other a long time.
Yeah, 30 years. So it's not quite half your life, Erin. I don't think you're 60.
True, but it feels like half my life.
Yeah,
like my adult life.
I understand.
I understand. Yeah. So have you been in New York or are you in Canada?
No, I'm in Toronto working on season 4 of Star Trek Discovery.
Yes, you are very fancy.
Yeah, thankfully, SAG-AFTRA and the other unions, IATSE and the Directors Guild and everybody was able to find ways to make COVID protocols workable so that we can actually keep shooting and working and keeping people employed and keeping continuing to create work. So we feel very fortunate to be in that position.
Yeah,
so theater. It's not happening in theater, of course. So
no.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the kids at Adventure in general are studying theater. So let's just talk, because you started as a child performer. What was your first production that you did?
My first production I was in a camp production of The Wizard of Oz. My mom was a nurse and she had a job at a summer camp in northeastern Pennsylvania. My brother, sister, and I attended with her working there. And I don't know why, but I auditioned for the show. I'd never done a show before. I auditioned and I got cast as the Cowardly Lion.
Aw.
So that was how I got bitten by the bug, and it went really well. I loved it. Came back the next summer, did 2 more shows. And then when I returned home to Joliet, Illinois, I started auditioning for local community theater productions and had a great time doing that. And there were a couple directors who were very encouraging to myself and my mom, and encouraged my mom to take me to Chicago to try to get professional work. They thought that would be something that was possible for me. And that started happening really quickly thereafter too. So my first equity job was in the Chicago production of Evita.
Who are you in Evita?
So in the original Hal Prince production, there were 4 kids that had like 3 little scenes.
Yes. Okay, I remember. Da 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 da. They sing in the beginning, and
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, so that was how I got my equity card. And then I did, I just pretty much kept working very steadily from then on. So I have a weird life, an unusual life in terms of all of that.
I feel like you started 20 years earlier than everybody else that we know.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, yeah, at least 10,
At
10
least
to 15,
yeah. But you also did the national tour with Yul Brynner in The King and I.
Yes.
You played Louis.
Yes.
Louis.
When I was 10, that was one of my jobs. I did a failed Broadway musical called The Little Prince and the Aviator. We previewed for 2 weeks and never opened. So it's one of the very few, in the history of Broadway, there are very few shows that can say they never opened, that previewed only. And Little Prince and the Aviator is one of them.
And you were the Little Prince. I
was originally cast as the fox and the understudy of the Little Prince. And then during rehearsals, they recast it and upgraded me to Little Prince and made the guy playing Little Prince my understudy. Oh,
that is not awkward at all. I'm sure that was a very fun working environment.
I mean, I felt fortunate. I was blissfully naive and excited and happy. But yeah, when I look back at it, I was like, that must have been so painful for him.
And he still showed up, right?
Yeah.
So he was a professional too. Is he still working? Do you know?
I don't know if he's still working. He worked for a while after that. He had like a TV series for a while. So he did fine for himself, but I don't know if he's continuing in show business or doing something else now as an adult.
Well, as an adult right now, if he was still doing theater, he's not.
Right. That's true.
It's all ground to a halt. So after you did the tour of King and I, and you did The Little Prince.
Yes.
And then did you go on, is that the cats?
Yes, the cats.
It's okay. I have Liam, you have cats.
Yes.
So then after that, you did Adventures in Babysitting, right? That would be the timeline?
Well, I did Precious Sons between them.
Right, Precious Sons, and then
Adventures Babysitting was my first film.
And that, if you haven't seen it, please go and look it up. Adventures in Babysitting is one of the funniest films. And when it came out, it was sort of like a quiet open.
Yeah.
You know, it was really not like, oh, here's one of the more hilarious things you're ever going to see.
Yeah.
But there are so many iconic moments that have become kind of cult favorite. Anytime I hear somebody say, what's that? The thing your character says, it's like
You think?
That's right. Every time I stop and I go, hello, Anthony, you show up in the weirdest places.
Yes. That came out in 1987. There were other movies that were bigger at the time, but our movie has had the staying power that those other movies haven't had, which is really cool.
And a lot of it had to do with the chemistry of all the cast.
Yeah.
Right. So it was you, Ali Sheedy.
No, Elizabeth Shue.
Elizabeth Shue. Oh, sorry. That was
John Hughes. The same era.
Yes. It was the same era.
Yeah.
So at Elizabeth Kids is on Cobra Kai, the season that just passed. She played Ralph Macchio's first girlfriend. Allie. That's why I did it, because she plays Allie.
Yes.
Yes. So Adventures in Babysitting. And then did you move to New York, or you?
No, timeline. Let's see. I did a couple little TV things. I did a little independent film. I finished high school. So I did that movie, and that's my cat.
I know.
He's excited. He just had lunch. I did that movie, and I still had to kind of not struggle a bit, but try to still get work. It wasn't like, oh, I do a movie and then suddenly all doors are open. I still had to audition and put myself out there. So, I had a couple of years where I was just doing smaller projects, I guess you could say. And then I ultimately moved to New York in the fall of 1989 to go to NYU film school. But I only lasted a semester because I was quite disappointed in the program, and it was really expensive.
It still is expensive.
Yeah, I think it's even more expensive now. Yeah. And then after I left school there, I got cast in 6 Degrees of Separation.
Right, which I saw.
Which was John Guare's seminal, extraordinary play, and it became a big hit. We started off Broadway, but we moved to Broadway and ran for a couple of years. And during the run, I left at one point to go do the movie School Ties.
Right.
And then I came back.
Brendan Fraser, which is also an amazing movie. Yeah.
And Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and Cole Hauser and Shel Kovanik. And after 6 Degrees closed, it was timeline. I believe it was that summer after it closed that I did Dazed Confused.
Yes. So what you all don't know is that Anthony and I have been friends a long time. We met in the summer.
91. Wasn't it 91?
92.
Oh, it was 92. Okay.
Summer of 92.
Okay.
So I actually got invites to all these screening things, and it's one of, so when you're starting, because I was starting then, when you're starting and you have this friend that's like, oh yeah, you might want to come to this. Yeah, I'll send you an invite. And you go and you see this full-on feature film or play on Broadway or something, and you're like, I know that guy. Wait. Like, why is he so big and famous? And it was just such an intrinsic part of my kind of awareness of how powerful performances can be and how they can reach through and grab you, even if you don't know somebody. But the fact that I did know you was always like, I'm so happy. Like, you just always, with all your performances, I've always gone and been just absolutely thrilled to be there and be supportive. And then also, like, I went to see you in, like, you did one of the Henrys, and it was in like
Henry V in Boston, up in the park.
You did like a Henry, or maybe it was a Richard in New York, in like an attic, almost like a second floor.
Little Hamlet. It was the short Hamlet. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then you did this play. What was that? Really? It was like an edgy play about roommates.
Yeah, Daedalus Lounge, the one that took place in Dublin. Mm-hmm.
And then you did Ursula's Permanent, which you co-wrote with your brother.
Yes. Yeah.
that I still have flashes of every single time. Like was Adam nominated for Pulitzer Prize?
He was nominated for a Pulitzer Prize for Nocturne, the finalist for that play, and then he's a Tony nominee this year for Sound Inside.
Right. And so every time I see his name come up or something like that, I just remember that moment in Ursula's Permanent where the actress, she had like some flapping thing and a noise like, ah! And then I'm like, everyone has come so far.
That's right.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
That rap family, they're very talented.
Yeah.
Talented people.
Yeah, we did these little like tiny off Broadway shows where we just produced them for spit and toilet paper and put them up, and tried to had very talented friends that we put in them and worked together, and did our best to try to keep creating art along the way.
And Sophistry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sophistry was that was a fantastic experience with Ethan Hawke and Steve Zahn and Callista Flockhart, Austin Pendleton. Jonathan Mark Sherman wrote it and was in it.
Yeah, it was a powerhouse company in a little theater. Was it Signature Theater?
Playwrights Horizons.
Playwrights Horizons. It's on 42nd Street, and we got to go see that. And I remember the other people seeing that night were two theatrical legends, Jessica Tandy and
Hugh Cronin. Yes, I do remember that.
And I was like, they're coming to see Anthony.
Yes. Yes.
That's amazing. So then we have like a little struggle time in New York, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And then after you tell me you're getting this job at Starbucks, and I'm like, okay, all right. You then call me and say, oh, I quit that job at Starbucks because I'm doing a workshop of a new musical and its name is
Rent.
Yeah. Oh, what? It's Rent. And it becomes one of the most, first of all, one of the longest running musicals ever. It wins every single award. And can you talk a little bit about that? What is that like? So you walked in, what did you sing?
Oh, for my first audition, I had to sing a rock and roll or pop song, which made me happy because I do like musical theater, but I really love rock and roll and pop music. So I sang "Losing My Religion" by REM.
Right.
And I'd actually done an exercise with my acting teacher at the time in her class where it was called a hero exercise. So the exercise wasn't meant to imitate a hero of yours, but Michael Stipe was kind of a hero of mine. He was somebody I really looked up to, the lead singer of REM. Not just for his voice and his performing abilities, but also he was using his platform to really talk about important issues. He just seemed to have a lot of integrity. So I, in class, sang that song to try to find those. The purpose of the exercise was not to imitate, but to find that within yourself and embody it and access it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I was armed with that going into my audition, and I give my teacher, Sandy Shuren, tons of credit for helping launch this whole chapter of my life. Unknowingly, she didn't mean to, and in a direct manner.
I'm sure she wouldn't take it back.
No, she wouldn't take it back. She'd be very happy about it. It was, and I didn't know at that time what it would turn into, of course, and it seemed like something exciting, but who knows what's going to happen. I was familiar with the director, Michael Greif, because I'd seen his work and been very impressed by it. And I'd auditioned for him for one other show. And I hadn't gotten that part, but it had been a really good audition process. So that's something else, especially for young actors, like every audition matters. And even if you don't get it, it could lead to something down the road, or you can still learn from it. It's still an opportunity to really have potentially a really good experience, whether you get the role or not. And there are many factors and reasons why you may or may not get a role.
Yeah.
It's a puzzle. You know, if you ever get the chance, I always try to tell young actors, if you ever get the chance to sit on the other side of a table in an audition room and spend a few hours watching people come in and just getting to see, you can have people give amazing auditions and not get the role. And that's part of the process. And it's sort of necessary. Sometimes you have people give an amazing audition, and another person give an amazing audition. There's just this one quality that fits just that much better with all the other people.
And and also on Broadway, it's sometimes just as simple as, do you fit the suit?
Yeah,
like when they're replacing, when they replaced them with Beauty and the Beast, they were like, actors have to be between this tall and this tall because we need a new spoon. And it's very dehumanizing to read that, but you realize that like the mechanics of getting a Broadway musical up and running and doing 8 shows a week is enormous. And sometimes you just have to fit into the spoon.
Yes. That's true.
Which thankfully Rent didn't do that to people.
Yeah, as much. Yeah.
I remember reading a comment that Jonathan said about the casting at the time, and he said he just wanted all his actors to be young and sexy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if it came from Michael or Jonathan, but together they also were looking that, and usually so in some ways that Rent casting, it's like the character and the person, the qualities are very much in some ways closer than they sometimes are in other shows. So like they wanted to feel both things present. It's not like we're hiding ourselves, like transforming fully into the role as much as you might in other shows. It was part of the deal is they wanted the essence of the performer themselves to come through with the character.
Yeah, like Rent is not a show that people get wig fittings for, or that like
unless you're paying Angel. Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. I mean Angel, but Angel is Angel. Angel is playing, at the time it was written, Angel was pretty much a drag queen, but then now Michael's changed his mind. He said he thinks that Angel is a trans character.
Yeah. And Angel was inspired by a couple different people that Jonathan knew, one of whom I don't know if had really come out as trans at the time, but there was a drag queen, one of his best friends had done drag, and then another friend was in somewhere in the, this is earlier on in the conversation where the conversations around trans identity were quite different. So,
I don't think we really had any. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I didn't think we just really had any.
Public conversations. There were conversations within the community.
Right, exactly. But like out loud, didn't walk down the street and, but I think that the conversation is shifting is a large part due to you and other cast members and like Pose and all that kind of conversation about like, what is Angel? Like, who is Angel supposed to represent? Because there's, in the beginning, of course, Angel is very campy. Yeah. And then as you go further into the show, Angel's the glue.
Yeah. Yep.
And everything kind of falls to pieces when they go. So, you really don't know. But I think that's a tribute to how shows like Rent, which are in a time period, they're in a time capsule, pre-cocktail.
Yes, pre-HIB cocktails. Yes, right on the cusp of when that happened.
Right. I remember seeing it. So I saw it the first show after Jonathan had passed. Yeah. And we were downtown, New York Theater Workshop. It was, the heat had gone out. So when you guys got up on the stage and you're saying like December 24th, 9 p.m., and it's freezing, the audience kind of chuckled because as you were singing all this air, we could see all your breath. And I was like, we're all freezing. Yes, we're all freezing.
That's funny.
It was a very, it made it very like more real in certain respects because we were all freezing along with you.
Sure.
But it was so moving that when I watched it, when you got to La Vie Boheme, I was like, oh, that's a number they're going to do on the Tonys. And I think I told you at that time, I said, I know what number you're going to do on the Tonys. You're like, Erin, come on. Like, don't even talk about that. We don't even know what we're doing tomorrow. And I was like, oh no, you're going to be on the Tonys and I know what number you're doing. And that was the number. And then
we did Seasons of Love and La Vie Boheme, medley. Yeah.
And I remember watching it because I was hosting a party for a theater company. And I was like, now, just so you all know, I've already seen this and I picked this number way back in time.
Pat yourself on the back, miss.
I know. I was like, it was all me. No, it wasn't me at all.
Hello, we're back. So, Leon, this is your segment.
This is my segment.
Yes.
Well, we're going to talk about the auction, right?
Yes.
So there is so many cool things about the auction. I'm just going to like reach in here so I can see on my computer. And by the way, while I'm doing this, Diego, thank you for your love on Facebook. I saw that. Brian, thank you for your donation. Really appreciate that. I'm there's other donations coming in, so I cannot get to mention everybody by name, but there's so many cool things at the auction. You can check it out. Again, Adventure 56651. That'll take you to the ClickBid site. You can check out all the auction items. We've got a lot of great trips. I don't know if you checked all of them. I know I could use a little time away from my house that I have seen the inside of quite a lot.
That's great.
We've got some trips out to North Carolina, I think to Arizona. I'm trying to remember some of the other cool trips that we have. Costa Rica, Puerto Vallarta. So there's a lot of cool trips. But if trips are not your bag, there's other things on there. There's some Waterford crystal. There is some pearl earrings. There are some... You want the pearl earrings, Chill?
Yes, they would look really right. I have old ear things here, ear piercings, back in my mullet and skunk hair days. Could you imagine, Mary?
I think we need a photo. Of that. At some point during this 30
We have 30 hours. Yeah, I'm with you, Mary. I feel like it's somewhere in the 30 hours.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just can't get the image out of my head with the hair. I mean, I went through my hair thing too. Mine was really long hair. It was like down past my waist, all like huge. Robin says she never would have dated me if I still had the hair. So thank you, dress code at Ruby Tuesdays is why I got married.
Stream-a-thon brought to you by Ruby Tuesdays.
Yeah. Please, there's a link.
This marriage was.
So please, there's a link to where all the auction items go to our ClickBid site link, which I believe is going to be put into all the feeds. So take a look at that. And so I think part of this too is there's an incredible list of really wonderful things to click on and to bid and to please donate and support. I thank you for the love that's happening, because I'm only seeing one of the feeds, but because I'm taking up too much Wi-Fi power right now. But we have a lot of stuff going on. People are slowly wrapping in. It looks like we're getting a lot more viewers on all of these different places. So thank you all for joining us. Mary, who is on our board. Hi, my name is Chill Kong. I'm the artistic director. We got to keep reintroducing ourselves, because sometimes people are like, who are these people? Why are they talking? But I believe how close we're starting to. Okay, so I know that we need to toss it sometime soon. But Leon, do you want to close this out so that we can toss?
Sure. I mean, so I talked about the trips. I talked about the cool high price items, but I didn't talk about the priceless items. So we have several props from previous shows. So we have like the dinosaur from Velveteen Rabbit. We have some huge interactive puppets from Alexander and the Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. And even though Chill is in those pictures, he does not come with the auction. There is, I'm trying to remember one of the other cool show items. We have the boat from Velveteen Rabbit also.
I love that boat. Cool. Yeah. I love that boat.
And some cooking classes. You're going to meet with later. Your audience, tune in later. When is Melissa joining us? It's like
Tomorrow evening.
Dinner or tomorrow?
Tomorrow evening, 6:00 time. Yes.
So Melissa Siegel, who's one of our board members, is going to give a cooking class that will tie into her segment. That's really cool. It's like all about how to cook with vegetables. And then she does her segment. Chill, you were there. What's her segment?
It's hard to describe because there's so many. Like, she put out like a 9-course meal. We actually cut some of the courses because we filmed it all. But please, like, that's one of the things she's donating is a cooking class with hers. But I also
flowers.
I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna show the interview, but we're gonna stay on screen because we're gonna test it again because we're gonna test the sound. So go ahead and play it. And Mary, like, I didn't realize you're a big fan of adventures.
So then Rent happened.
Is it working? Yay! I'll get back to you, Mary. I want to talk about adventure in babysitting.
Charlie Brown.
That was the next. Yeah, I mean, I went to London and did Rent there too.
Right.
For
Yeah,
2
you
years
did
on
Rent
Broadway.
everywhere. Everywhere.
I mean, yeah, the next show I did in New York was Your Good Man Charlie Brown, which actually today, as we're recording this interview, is the 25th, or not the 25th, sorry, the 12th anniversary of opening night on Broadway of Charlie Brown.
And it was so cute.
Not 12, 27.
I was going to say, if you want to go with 12, I'm not going to argue with you, but I know
22nd, that's what I'm talking about. Math, 1999. So,
Edie Huang was Linus.
yes, he was.
And Kristen Chenoweth won her first Tony Award.
Yep. And that was, I mean, she had been somebody who'd done like, I think 1 or 2 off-Broadway shows and had some buzz around her, but that kind of like, that's what really launched her.
She did Steel Pier, which I saw.
And A New Brain, right?
Yeah, I think so. But that one I didn't see, but I did see her in Steel Pier, and she was really remarkable because she had this crazy number in the middle of the show that kind of explored all the different parts of her voice, from the belting to the, and I remember sitting there going, that girl better never get sick.
No one else is going to do it.
I was like, oh, she can't call out ever. And then she was in your show, and I was just so happy to see her. I was like, oh, good, she got another job. You know, you feel a sense of community when somebody's show closes and you're like, I really hope, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was a dreamy experience. It was in many ways a wonderful transition out of Rent. Rent was an incredible experience. It was really intense. It was very exhausting physically and emotionally and vocally. And to go into something like Charlie Brown afterwards, directly after, was such a nice change of pace for my system. So,
yeah, and the optimism that all the characters have because they're children must have been kind of like soothing.
Yes.
Instead of coming off the show that's like, everybody's dying, everybody's sick, everybody's, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's it would be I think it would be a good relief to be able to go to Charlie Brown after that.
Yes, it was the only thing about that experience that was less than beautiful was that we ran for too short a time.
Yeah.
We did the show out of town in 4 different cities to like tune it up. You know, Michael Mayer, our director, and Andrew Lippa, who helped adapt the show, and all of us, we worked really hard to keep making it better and better on the road. We got some really wonderful reviews on the road. It was successful, and then we came to New York, and then Ben Brantley just did not like the show very much. He loved Kristen, and he kind of liked Roger Bart, although he didn't love him. And then Roger also wound up winning the Tony, but he kind of didn't like the show, and it was really hard to get our show noticed in that way after he didn't like it, because people, I think, you know, understandably, people thought, oh, it's a kid's show, it's Broadway. It might be different now, who knows, because Broadway's quite a bit different now than it used to be in many ways. So yeah, that was the only aspect of it that was not the most exciting thing about it. Everything else was wonderful. The great cast, great artistic experience. Yeah.
I listen to the recording all the time.
Oh, it's very
sweet.
Thank you.
And when I was pregnant, I listened to it all the time because I thought it was like joyous and bumpy, and you know, like he would kick along to it. It was very, you know, he liked it. You know, do you wonder, looking back on it, because that cast was very diverse for the time, like, because and all the shows, honestly, that you've been involved on Broadway have served that narrative, have served that diversity equals dollars narrative. Do you think that perhaps was one of Brantley's maybe objections to it, because everybody didn't look exactly like the cartoon?
He didn't. That's not what he said. He was more talking. He just the way he talked about it was more about, he just was kind of not jiving with the vibe of the show in general. He didn't think it was that funny, but he loved Kristen. He wrote like 5 paragraphs about her.
Yeah.
You know, so it was strange for us, and it's strange for her, honestly. The day the review came out, so we had our opening night. The next morning, we were on the Rosie O'Donnell show, and we gathered, and we'd all seen the review. And then she comes in the room, and she's like, I feel so weird. You know, of course, we're all excited for her and happy for her. This is a major thing for her, but at the same time, we're all like, oh no, what is this going to mean for our show? And she felt the same way. It's such a strange phenomenon of showbiz in those kinds of situations. I think now it's unclear to me like how much the Times always has that kind of power as much anymore. There are a lot of other ways that shows can get notoriety other than simply a great review in the Times, although a great review in the Times certainly still can make a big difference.
Well, yeah, because I don't know, I think as New Yorkers, we're genetically tilted towards believing the New York Times, at least in the theater section. But I do wonder, there's a push right now for the New York Times to have more diversity amongst their staff.
Yes.
And how they have reviewed things continually through a lens that doesn't seem inclusive.
Yes, I agree.
And it is one of those things that I think the Times, because it is, what do they call it? The white lady?
The gray lady, I think.
Gray lady.
Yeah.
I think they still struggle with the change.
Yes. Well, yeah, it's such an old established institution. So anything that's in any institution that has such a long history, it just takes there's a lot of inertia you have to work against. So
yeah, absolutely. So Charlie Brown, and then did you go to do the Rent movie after that?
A few years after that. In the meantime, I did Road Trip. I did A Beautiful Mind.
Yes. Now, kids, Road Trip, probably see it when you're like 15 up.
Yeah, is it rated R or PG? I think it's rated R, right? I don't remember.
I think it's rated R. Does somebody show their
chest? I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But A Beautiful Mind after that too.
Yeah, you really transitioned really well to film.
Oh, thank you.
Like a lot of theater artists don't get that shot, but you seem to really go seamlessly from film back to Broadway to film to Broadway. And at that time when you were doing Beautiful Mind, I was living in LA. And so we got to hang out a lot because you were like, okay. In New York, it's so busy. Everybody's always got 5 minutes to get everywhere. But in LA, nothing to do but hang out.
That's right. That's funny. It's true.
It's true.
And I got a Beautiful Mind too at its point where, so I'd done Rent, and like 94 was when we did the original workshop, but then 96 is when it opened on Broadway. And for about the next 4 years or so, I pretty much worked nonstop. I mean, it was solid and really, and I thought, okay, this is it. I'm never gonna have to worry about work again. No, in like 2000, I hit a major wall and I didn't work almost for a year. And I was like, what is gonna happen? I felt like all doors were closed to me. And then the next job I got was A Beautiful Mind. So, I'd like to share that story too for any young actors to know that the ups and downs, the roller coaster ride of it are all part of it. There are people who win Academy Awards and don't work for a year sometimes.
I remember you playing me Ron Howard's voicemail that he left you, welcoming you to the company of A Beautiful Mind. How important is it that you work with people who are kind?
I mean, I think it's one of the most important things in terms of the experience of doing the work. And I do think with all the sea change that's happened in the last few years, I think that's becoming across the board, almost like a mandate that's been established that bad behavior is no longer going to be tolerated in quite the same way. There was for a long time, temperamental artists were like given space to be temperamental because they're artists. But I think we finally called BS on that. And so, people like certainly in Star Trek Discovery for sure, if anybody were to come on our show and act up, they would be gone. It would not survive, So I just think it's deeply, deeply important.
I think it's deeply important. And I think it's important to recognize that social media, your behavior on social media, kids, can come right back and bite you in the rear end. Because if you are one of those people who does hide behind a social media persona, and then you do get hired for a big project, it's very easy for somebody to dig that stuff up.
Yep.
And turn around and they'll let you go.
Yeah. And it's forever. Even if you delete the tweet, it's still somebody might have a screenshot somewhere. It's
true. It's true. Yeah. And also sometimes things that you think make sense, all of a sudden, your fingers fumble or something like that. There's a typo, and all of a sudden what you intended doesn't come out.
Yeah.
and you can really sink yourself. You can sink your own ship by the way you choose to behave on social media.
I agree. And I do know also in some cases, I don't know exactly. I know in publishing, and I think sometimes in casting also for actors, that they do look at that stuff pretty closely. You know?
Yeah, I think we're getting closer to personal accountability on a lot of levels.
Yes.
You know, where we didn't before. It used to be boys will be boys.
Yes.
You know, girls will be quiet. And now, you know, there's not a lot of tolerance going on for past indiscretions, which honestly I do think is good.
I do too.
Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello.
Council member, great to see you.
Good to see you as well.
How are you this fine Sunday?
I'm doing great, thank you. I was just listening intently to the conversation there.
Yeah, what would you say about the being nice and how that applies to like working with your council member colleagues?
I think being nice applies to working with everybody and dealing with everybody. When it comes down to it, no matter what we do, we're all human beings, and it's a lesson we were burned by early on. I think we learn early on, and it's I think the most important thing we can take with us. That we focus a lot on the IQ, but it's really the EQ that will get you really far in life, no matter what you're doing. That's certainly true in politics and on the council.
You know both Chill and Margot, right?
Yes, good to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us today. I know that this is a lot of these last minute arrangements, so thank you. This is and with your busy schedule, so thank you for coming and joining us today.
Of course, wouldn't miss it.
So you've known Adventure for a long time, right? You grew up in the area.
Yes, I did. I did.
Do you have like an early memory of Adventure Theater?
So, I didn't do programming directly at Adventure Theater, although I did some performing arts and had some friends who did quite a number of events and activities and programs at Adventure Theater. And it's a huge part of the arts community. And, we're lucky in Montgomery County to have organizations like Adventure Theater, and both for young people and the programming that it provides, the creative juice that it helps to inspire. I see it as educational and also workforce development and also mental health. And having places where young people can figure out who they are and learn to appreciate who they are is such an important part of who we are. And to move forward to figure out the type of creativity that we need in our economy. Not everybody is going to end up being a professional actor or some other type of professional talent. Some will, and we're lucky that many in our community have. But the lessons that you learn from Adventure Theater and the opportunities that it provides will take you so many places, and it's just such a huge part of the fabric of our community.
Thank you for that, Andrew. I know that we are just lucky and fortunate to have supporters like you who come out. And so, again, donate, please. Text Adventure to 56651 or go to our donate link and click bid. And thank you for joining us, Andrew. I think we're going to go to our last video with Anthony Rapp's interview with Miss Erin Quill. So thank you again. And I think
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to video.
So let's talk about Star Trek Discovery. How fun is it? Like, what's your favorite outfit?
Oh, well, my favorite outfit is my pajamas, which I've worn a couple times because they're so comfortable. They're like the best pajamas I've ever had. I wish I could take them home with me. They're so comfortable. They're like space pajamas, but they're
Space pajamas.
Because the uniform I love wearing the uniform too, because I feel very official wearing the uniform, but it's just not as comfortable. It's a uniform. It doesn't have to be comfortable. It's not supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to make you feel like you're in a uniform.
Like you could blow something up.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I do feel badass in it, and I appreciate it.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because you're there in a uniform in Star Trek in space.
Yeah, the first day I ever came to work after doing like fittings and everything like that, I actually did a photo shoot and promo thing before I ever set foot into a scene. So it was doing that process that here's a tricorder, here's a phaser, and I'm like, because I'm a nerd.
Toys.
I mean, it's bananas. You know, I had toys like crazy when I was a kid and never imagined myself in these sorts of things. I always thought, I'll enjoy them as an audience member. I didn't project myself into them as an actor. I was like, I'll just be a fan. It's fun. And then when I got it was literally a call in the middle of the night because it was like West Coast time, but New York, I was in New York, and it was like as I was going to, not middle of the night, but late at night, as I was going to bed, I was like checking my email, and they're like, "Do you have any interest in being in the new Star Trek project?" I'm like, "What? There's a new Star Trek?" I didn't even know it was happening, and then it was like, "Sure," and it was an offer, which doesn't happen that often.
That's so crazy.
So it's like out of nowhere, this huge gift.
But it's not out of nowhere because it's out of X amount of years of working and showing up and being reliable and choosing, like I've been with you several times where you're like, I have to go home to bed.
Yes.
I cannot go out and party and carouse all night. I have to take care of myself, or I have to get a massage, or I have to, you've been very good and actually an example about how to maintain career longevity because you don't party.
I don't.
You don't party. Like a big night out is like, maybe we'll go grab dinner.
Yeah.
And then we don't even drink at dinner. It's like,
especially if I'm doing a musical. Like,
yeah.
I might have like on the last day of the week, I might have like a glass of wine or 2 glasses of wine at the end of the 8-show week, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just kind of, but and so I do think that I think, it's a personal decision about how you decide to take care of yourself. And you've always been really great about taking care of yourself, about exercising and what you eat and how much sleep you get. And I think a lot of times it's very easy to turn to like our phone or video games or something else and kind of, all of a sudden realize, hey, it's 4 a.m. I probably should go to sleep. Yes. But you have not, like in my observation, you don't do that when you're working. You do that like if you're on vacation or you're not on a project.
Yes. Yeah. Like when I have downtime, I do very much believe in downtime and making sure you also have things like if it's gaming or reading or exercising or yoga or whatever that are not part of show business, that you have other things that can really feed your mind and soul. I do that fully, believe me. But when I'm working, I'm very focused.
Yeah, when you're working, you're focused.
Yeah.
And you love baseball.
I do love baseball. Yes.
He loves baseball in a way. Oh my! It's fanatical. It's fanatical how much you love baseball. But I think again, it's that same thing. It's like so interesting the way you love baseball because you love stats and you love game theory and you love all the like, okay, well, this is if this guy gets this one, then this is going to happen. This is good. I mean, it's mathematical in a way.
And I think that I've always thought, I've talked to my brother-in-law is a former ball player, and he actually won a World Series with the Reds. So, and he loves talking about it. Like
you sit very close to him.
But I've always thought that there's a kind of similarity between baseball players and theater artists in the sense that baseball players, their schedule is a grind and they're on the road a lot, but they don't have the kind of days off that like basketball players or football players have. They're on every day, and so there's something about that rhythm and the kind of ritual aspect of it that I feel like there's something a little bit in common, especially with musical theater performers on Broadway, when you're 8 shows a week and the way you have to think. I'd long said that I think being in musical on Broadway is the closest actors will ever be to being an athlete, unless you're like playing a superhero, maybe.
If you're playing a superhero, you're kind of on wires and you're being
and you have stunt man,
you have stunt guys. But I do think I have known a couple of baseball players in my life, and I think the other thing is when you do talk to them, they get it. If you say like, I can't have a show, they're like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like the instant acknowledgement that you give one another, that like that's your career and you're taking it seriously, and I acknowledge that. Go do what you got to do. So I've always liked professional baseball players to talk to and to chat with, because they're fun, and they acknowledge that it's like that weird hybrid of you absolutely love it, it's a job.
Yes. And the other similarity is, like, no matter what happened the night before on stage, you got to go out there and do it again that next night. And same thing in baseball. Clearly, even if you got a home run the last at bat, you got to do your best to do something good at the next one. You're never done. You can't just go, okay, I'm done now. You know,
right?
Exactly. Show 2 of the week, show 4 of the week, show 5 of the week. Every time, it's up to you to give it your 100%.
And it is very difficult on second show days to get your wind back, to step on that, to be like, okay, I'm gonna get a salad, I'm gonna try and rest. The equity cut here, can I take a nap? You know, like, how do you, so what's your like double show day ritual? Do you have one?
It depends on the show, and it depends on how much time between shows. But yeah, I tend not to take a nap between shows, because sometimes my energy crashes too much, and then I've got to like come up out of the pit of it.
Right.
So yeah, I try to find a way to like have a meal that's enough to sustain me, but not too heavy.
Right.
You know, and just like relax. If it's a demanding show, just be quiet, relax, and then gear up again for the second show kind of thing.
How was doing If Then, since you'd gone off and you did a bunch of movies, and then you came back to Broadway to do If Then with your Rent co-star Idina Menzel?
Yes.
What was that like?
It was a wonderful experience. So Michael Greif directed it.
Right. So
and I knew LaShawns, who was in it. I'd known her for 20 years or so at that point. So she was one. I knew Jen Colella for a long time, you know, and Tom Kitt and Brian Yorkie, who wrote the show.
Right.
I'd worked with them on early versions of Next to Normal in development, and then
that's right. You were the assistant director.
Yeah, and then I assisted Michael in the off-Broadway production with that. So it was kind of old home week in so many ways. So it's just this one talk about how important it is for good people to work together. That was a clear case of that, and we really gave it our all, and we loved doing it. And you know, it did. We ran for about a year, which is nice, but it certainly didn't do what we thought it might do in terms of, you know, be the kind of success that we thought it could, because we thought it was quite special. And
I thought it was quite special. I remember, because I was in LA at the time, and I came back, and I remember, I think it was like the last night here before I had to go back, and I fit it in, you know, like I was like, I can come to the, you know, last minute show. And I remember seeing you after and just being like, it is wonderful.
yeah, thank you.
What are they talking about? Like, you know, because I had read everything, and, you know, sometimes you do go to shows because your friends are in them, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know, but I was like, I don't know what anybody else is talking about.
You know, it's just taste is taste, and some people, you know, some things work for some people and some things don't. So it's just part of it, you know.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people who are big fans of the show. It was wonderful to be a part of I was a part of the development over a course of a couple of years.
Right.
Reading workshops. So it was great to get to have a character written for me, to get to create the role with people I love and respect and trust. Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. And it was during that experience that I met Ken. So, you know, I mean, like all kinds of things happen.
Everything happens. The universe aligns.
I was assigned.
Who gave you an assignment? I'm the only one who gives assignments around here. So you're the one Lorca sent?
Yeah.
So what's your shooting schedule now? What episode are you on in the season?
We're actually kind of like jumping around a little bit, depending on what sets are ready or what, you know, because of COVID protocols, we're having to move this. So we're like, one part of the week, sometimes we might be doing episode 2, part of the week we might be doing episode 6, you know, so.
And that's how TV works, kids.
Yes, that's how it works. So.
Are you all potted together in the same building?
No, we're essentially in lockdown in Toronto when we're not at work. I mean, we could go to the grocery store, we could take walks, but we have to, the guidance in the city is that people in their households should stay in their households as much as possible, you know, so.
Yeah, that's probably the wise course.
Yeah.
You know, children of America.
Yes.
It's not that exciting to go out and then catch something. You should stay home.
That's right.
Um,
And I'm getting tested 3 times a week.
right. I was in a chat room on Clubhouse, and one of the things that they talked about was how much extra COVID protocols are adding to the shooting budgets.
Mm-hmm.
And so 3 times a week, huh?
Mm-hmm. So there's all those costs of processing all those tests for, because
Each
not
test over-
everyone is getting 3 times. It depends on what part of the production you're a part of, but there's staffing for that. Then there's all kinds of coordination for that. So
Mhm.
materials, people, it's a lot. And
Yeah.
then we've been able to make our days happen for the most part. We found a way to make it as smooth as possible, but it did take a bit to adjust to some of the protocols too on set, to when we're wearing our masks, when we're not wearing our masks, where do the masks go, how do we put them back on safely, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been, but all the unions work really hard to make this possible, so we feel very fortunate.
So you didn't have Tom Cruise yelling at any of you on set?
No, and our production is taking it very seriously.
Yeah. I shot a commercial early in May, and I thought the production crew was fantastic. Like, honestly, they were just on it with everything. We had this woman that was like, oh, stay back, that's 6 feet, you got it. And I thought by the end of the day she might drop dead, because she was so agitated, but I really appreciated it.
Yeah.
Because that allowed me to work.
That's great.
So you just have to be polite to everybody, and
yes, take it seriously. Yeah.
and take it seriously.
Yeah.
All right, anything else you want to say, Mr. Rapp?
I just hope whoever's watching this, that you are staying well and safe as much as possible in these very strange times. And can you only imagine what it's going to be like when theater's back and when we're all in a theater together? And the feeling in that building is going to be incredible.
I
look forward to it.
I look forward to it. I may cry. I know I will cry, but because I find myself tearing up even when I see people talking about working. I get like, that would be really nice. And then I start to get okay, you have to take it down, Quill, because it's not going to happen overnight. But I do feel like there's going to be an emotional release. One of my friends, Jameson Stern, said, what do you think will happen after we've been on this 2-year pause? And I said, what are we supposed to learn? And I think what we learn to a certain extent is how much we take for granted what artists do.
Yes.
And how much they contribute to our enjoyment of life, to the way we feel about ourselves, to the way we feel about other people.
Yes, and the world. Yeah.
And the world in general. If people could be a little bit more like actors, which of course is not every parent's nightmare, but but in terms of okay, there are some crazy ones, I'm not gonna lie. But in terms of how we are presented on stage and the lessons that we're supposed to be teaching through the shows that we do.
Yes. And also just being in the room with people who are giving their heart and soul to something, and that they're putting it out there and the people are there to receive it. And there's this sharing in a theater that's unlike any other, or a concert or a dance performance. Those were theaters too, but
yes,
that live performance energy, that exchange, I think people are going to be starving for it. And I hope that you're right, that it's going to no longer be, not that it's ever fully taken for granted, but I think it's going to be even more apparent how much we need that in our lives.
Yeah, I feel like when you buy a ticket and you walk into the theater, you're entering into an agreement with the performer. The performer agrees to show up and agrees to do their best that they possibly can do that day. And you agree as the audience member to be attentive, to not check your phone every 5 seconds, to be as immersed in the show as an audience member as we are as performers.
Yes.
We don't want people coming in and trying to videotape us. Then you're clearly not watching the show.
Exactly. And it will never be the same on that little video as it is in that electricity in the air in the room.
Yeah, I remember when I went to the Rent 10 year.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's 25. But when I went to the Rent tenure, there were like just like 3 or 4 people that took their phones out and tried to record. You should have seen the audience reaction when they would see that phone, that like all of a sudden they would like just hissing and put it away and like all this stuff. And it was just so like, don't ruin this for everybody. Like be present for all of us. We're never going to get this back.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, and then you guys came out and sang No Day But Today, and everybody was a mess.
Yeah.
You know,
that's how we do. We make you a mess.
That's how we do. I never wear eye makeup when I go to see you. I wait until after the show and then I put the mascara on, because it's never a guarantee that I will walk out with my same face I showed up with.
Understandable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Understandable.
Well, Mr. Rapp, we don't want to keep you too long because we know you have to get to shooting. So give our love to Ken, and thank you so much. And Adventure Theater Stream-a-thon fundraiser. This has been a very special interview with Mr. Anthony Rapp, and I hope you appreciate it.
Live long and prosper. Hey.
Hey. All right, I'll talk to you later. I love you.
Thank you, Aaron. I love you too.
Bye.
Oh, we doing that?
Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. Hello, County Executive. Thank you for joining us.
How you doing?
Good. How are you today?
Just like every day, COVID's out there. This is a rainy COVID day as opposed to another COVID day.
Well, I did see, like, my phone pinged with exciting news like 2 seconds ago that the Johnson & Johnson got approved. So are we going to see that in the county soon?
So, I mean, the initial doses coming out from Johnson & Johnson are, I think, under 5 million nationally. So, you mean, divide that by, you know, what Montgomery County, what, 1/350th the size of the nation. So the first doses I don't expect to be enormous for the county, but I think over the next month, between the ramp up of Pfizer and Moderna and then Johnson & Johnson coming fully online, we should easily, I hope, be able to double the vaccinations, if not triple the vaccinations in the county.
We can't wait. We can't wait. We miss you at the theater.
I miss
everyone at the theater.
Look, man, my love of live music, and I had all these tickets that I never got to use, that I had bought for like the spring and the summer last year, and actually I think something as far as I had a Yormouth Calcannon ticket for November. So yeah, I've missed all that, and it's, you know, I'm used to music and life and all those things, and it's just weird not being able to experience any of that.
We missed having you here. I know that I'm relatively new to you, and we haven't had a chance to spend some time, but I just want to thank you for coming in and supporting us and saying hello to everyone. You want to say hello to everyone on our live stream?
Hello, everybody in the live stream. I mean, the arts are the things that make things kind of fun, and it's just what I have been really happy about is watching more and more people be able to do this virtually, so that we didn't go completely cold. And you think about, like, in an earlier time, this would have been, 10 years ago, it would have been lights out for everything.
Yeah.
And that really, I think, has an impact on people's lives. And so to not have to go lights out, but to be able to find ways to do things virtually, I think has been a real saving grace of all this. And, you know, the fact that we've got technology that makes that possible is not a small thing anymore. So it's better than it could have been, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
Margot's team is just reaching out and touching so many lives and making a big impact.
And I'm sure you're suffering with all, the starving artists. I mean, this has got to be hard. I mean, that used to be the joke when if you were in high school, when I was in high school and you wanted to be an artist, it was like everybody put starving artist and starving in front of the word artist. But to be in a situation where you can't even perform the way you're used to performing has got to be way stressful for people.
Yeah, in a normal year, we hire like 200 artists and give them about 3 months of work each at least. And this year it's been like 20. I mean, that's still more than zero, but it's been hard.
Yeah.
You know, I feel bad because, you know, I have to make these decisions honestly about what's open and closed, and it's really, there's no fun in this because, I mean, the truth is that anything you open increases the risk of spread of virus, and increasing spread equals more people dying. You can't escape that. And
Well,
so
we
everything
appreciate,
kind of weighs these two things. It's not fun.
yeah, I mean, we do appreciate the care you take in these decisions, and you know, I think these are not easy decisions for any of us, and all of us would love to be open. But I think what I appreciate and what us at Adventure appreciate is everyone within our Montgomery County is incredibly supportive and is trying everything they can to make this thing work. So thank you, Mark, Councilman Eldridge, for doing that for us and just being a voice for us, because I know that's hard. So thank you for that. We do have to go to our next segment.
Okay.
Do you have any last words for us as you say goodbye?
Two things. One is get vaccinated, and all three vaccines will keep you alive. It's really important. So whatever vaccine you can get it in your arm. And the second thing is we're going to continue to work with the state and federal government to try to get as much money for relief for arts venues and frankly restaurants as we can possibly do, because it's been the hospitality folks, you know, of which you are among them, that have really taken a huge hit in all this. And I'm not unaware of that. And we've been advocating for more funds, and we'll continue to do that.
And our audience can support also with Adventure 56651.
So please text Adventure to 56651. And we're now going to go into our next segment. Thank you again, Councilman Eldridge.
Thank you, County Executive.
you.
Really appreciate you joining us.
Yes.
Oh, County Exec. Oh, awesome. This is me fumbling around. The Henrys. I love you. So our next segment is this really fun cooking segment, which I got to see a part of. So thank you for joining us. You two are fun together, by the way. And I can see that the family love that the two of you have. So thank you for joining us. I know that you also have some products that you have available for. So do you have any of them that you can just kind of list off?
Well, Island Boy Cuisine makes a variety of products. We specialize in gourmet sausages and supply hotels and restaurants, and we have a few retail outlets that we're in. We're all in Darnestown at Chop Shop Butchery, and from time to time we have a few products at Balducci's in Old Georgetown Road.
Yeah, I hear the jerk marinade is amazing.
So it is.
Yeah, we had some of our folks who ordered it already. I actually, and once I get some time, I'll go back and be able to purchase some of these.
Why, are you doing something for the next 30 hours, Joe?
Yeah,
I know.
That's the next like 28 and a half now.
We're already, well into our. We're not.
Nobody's counting, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna roll your video, but I'd love for you to set it up. Like, so you want to describe what you're doing and what's the food that we're going to be showing in the segment, and then just once you've established it, then we'll just go roll film, and we'll go to there. Okay.
Okay. So we're kind of doing an Italian profiled spaghetti meatballs, and we're using our meatballs as our special item this episode, I guess. So we hope you enjoy, and you get to try it at some point, maybe after or even during the stream-a-thon if you have a break. So yeah.
The recipe should be included, so you can make it on your own. If not, check out our website, islandboycuisine.com, and there you'll find a whole bunch of products that we have.
Okay.
By the way, thank you for including us in your stream-a-thon. This is definitely a worthy cause, and wish you nothing but success.
Thank you. Thanks. So hang around. We're going to have a little quick discussion afterwards, but let's roll Island Boy.
Hi, folks. I'm Mark Henry.
And I'm Lizzie Henry, and welcome to Stream-a-thon Block. Thank you today for joining us for Adventure Theater Stream-a-thon.
Remember to donate Text adventure to 56651. Today, we're going to be doing a small demo for you. And on the menu is chicken meatballs in a tomato sauce over spaghetti.
So to start off, we're going to be starting with our sauce.
To begin, go with the sauce. Lizzie, you got it.
Okay, so we're going to do roughly 1 tablespoon. I guess it's free-handed, but try to stay in that area. So
Let me see what you have.
That's
You want to
good.
come on over and take a look at it?
That's good.
Yeah, we can give it a little more. Why don't you turn on the stove, please?
Okay. Ooh, that was nice. Okay, there we go.
All right, so while our oil is heating, what we're going to be adding to our dish is going to be some,
Rosemary,
yes,
garlic,
yes,
and basil.
right.
Yay!
Once we get that going, we're going to give some color, let the basil cook until it's aromatic, along with the rosemary, and the garlic starts getting some color.
Okay.
All right, so our oil is just about there. You want a little bit just to coat the bottom. A good way to get your sauce going great, nice and easy, is to make sure that you have a solid non-stick pot.
Okay.
All right, so let's take a look and see where we're at. All right, it's going to take a little while. The oil is not quite heated yet,
That's okay.
but we can hear it
here
coming.
We go.
Yeah,
Here we
it's
go.
coming. So we,
Now we're going to zoom on in and how it's caramelizing it.
right. So you hear it starts to sizzle a little bit. Let's start stirring it.
Around a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah. So you let that cook. You want to cook it on a low to medium heat flame, so that way your garlic don't burn quickly. And yeah, you give it a little bit of time. Once the color starts coming together, the roux is going to be real aromatic. We're going to be adding some white wine. You do not have to add white wine because you can add other things. You're going to add your tomato product to it, which is spicy or tangy and acidic.
So you want it to balance out.
Yep, you're looking at balancing the flavor. As you can see, the garlic is starting to get some color. Once you get this going, the dish is going to cook for a while. It's going to simmer, reduce down. Most of your liquid is going to reduce, and you're going to have a pulpy sauce.
Okay. So you ready to add the tomato sauce?
No, we're going to add the white wine first. We cook it a little bit more.
So about how much wine are we using?
We're using about 2 ounces of white wine. You can just go with your eye. Let that sizzle a little bit. And then we're going to add our tomato product.
Just cool it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Right. So you smell that flavor that is coming through. I'm using San Marzano tomatoes.
So these are the really pinky ones, right?
Yes, San Marzano refers to the style of tomato, the type of tomato that grows in Pompeii, Italy.
They kind of look like giant grapes.
They do, and we use these because the skin is not as thick as your regular plum tomato. It's similar to a tomato breed. Okay. And what we want to do is, it also has it's less acidic, and they attribute that to the soil, the terroir around the region, because tomatoes are very acidic in nature. What normally happens?
Bubbles and everything.
Yeah, what normally happens is that you get a very tangy, bitter sauce. So to compensate for that, a lot of times people will add some like a little bit of sugar to cut that acid. Me personally, I like that acidic taste to my fresh tomato sauce.
Okay, that looks good.
Cool. So we're going to let that go for a while. And then we're going to move on to making our chicken meatballs. You are not limited to using a San Marzano tomato. You can use regular diced tomato. Any tomato from the store will be good for you to use. And when you're using them, some people will char their tomato, which gives it that rusty burnt flavor to it, tinge of burnt flavor. It adds character to your finished product. This is going to take about an hour to reduce and all. But through the magic of TV, we're going to show you what we've done some earlier ahead of time. Yeah. Okay? So Well, just let this go for a while, and then if you can, please, can you get rid of these for me? Okay. Yeah. So now we're going to be working on our chicken meatball. What I have here is approximately 2 pounds of ground chicken thigh meat. And the reason why I use thigh meat is because I get a good marbling of fat and lean meat. So you have a lot of flavor. It has a lot of flavor, and you get that moisture in it. You know what? Let's get this out of the way. If you don't mind, can you just put it on the back there for me? So, meatball. Now, here in America, most of us are used to having that Italian flavor profile, but you're not limited to that. There are many other types of meatballs that are out there that you can use. Okay, so for ingredients, we're going to be using a tablespoon of parsley, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of sage, pepper flakes, and onion powder, about a teaspoon each of basil and oregano, and a teaspoon and a half of salt.
Okay.
All right?
That's a lot of seasoning.
It is a lot of seasoning, but if you take a whiff of this, you smell it, it's like pizza calling, you know, it's very aromatic. To that, we're going to add a combination of pecorino romano and Parmesan cheese that has been grated. And then we're going to be using a half cup of Panko breadcrumbs.
Okay, so why are we using panko?
Because panko is crustier, lighter, it's thicker.
So it
and
gives
it
it
can
more
spread.
crunchy?
It adds to it, but it also absorbs the moisture, excess moisture in
Okay,
there.
so it's not too wet.
It's not as dense. Okay.
That's good for your meatballs, by the way, because if they're too dense, they'll collapse.
Well, not really. They won't collapse. They'll be kind of heavy. If you have the regular breadcrumbs, you can go ahead and use it, but you want to use less than a half cup. And rather than pouring it in like I'm going to do here, so we're adding our cheese, and now we're going to add all of our spices. So,
it's like a fun slide.
Right. We are not adding eggs to our mixture because we have enough moisture in there, or we have enough, the breadcrumbs is enough to bind it. In using the panko breadcrumbs, we don't need to worry about the binding part of them because they're bigger, they tend to absorb or bring things together. Okay? So what we'll do is just go ahead and mix it up. And if you're using chicken breasts, you might need to add some liquid to your mixture, so that way you can get the product to not only bind but add moisture to it, because the chicken breast has less moisture content to it. The chicken I got from my local butcher at the supermarket. I had just asked them to grind it up for me. You want to get in here and mix this stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're folding, right?
Yeah, you want to get down in there. Don't push because you're compressing it. You want to mix it in. Get in there. All right.
Wee.
Get the spices up from the side. So as I was saying, you get your fresh thick chicken thigh meat from your butcher. You know, I asked my guy to grind it, and he had the fine die on. So I told him just grind it once.
So we don't have to grind it anymore, right?
Right. If you do a thicker grind, then you want to go like one or twice, because then you won't have all the chunks. You won't have too much chunks in there. Okay. I personally like nice big chunks of meat in there. I like to see what I'm eating. Okay. All right. Let me get in there and see how we're doing. Okay. Now we get in there. There is such a thing as over mixing.
But what about under?
You can undermix by not mixing it at all, being afraid of it. You got to get in there and kind of, yeah, pick up the stuff. I'll get there. Yeah. So, incidentally, viewers, meatballs and spaghetti is one of Liz's favorite dish.
Yes.
You know, why is that?
I don't know, to be honest. I really like eating spaghetti.
Yeah.
It's like a funny meal.
Oh, yeah. Now, you're not limited, as I was saying earlier, you're not limited just to chicken or to Italian flavor profile meatball. Meatball, you actually can track its history throughout the world. There are a lot of cultures. You know, in North Africa, they have different type of meatballs that they make with different meats. You can use chicken, you can use
Beef.
venison, deer, meat, pork, my personal favorite, and you can combine the meats as well. You even have duck meatballs. In the Philippines, they like to do, a friend of mine, from the Philippines, he likes to make duck meatballs. So to make our meatball, we just want to reach in and grab like a handful, get a little bit more. Yeah, you don't want to squeeze it. You want to handle it, but you don't want to squeeze it or press it through your hands. So you get like a cup, a small amount here. This is about 1.5 ounces, and we're going to form them into balls.
So how much with this mixture can we make?
This, we should be able to get about 17 meatballs easily out of it.
Okay. So
All right. That's a little bit big, but yeah, we can go with that.
You told me to add.
Yeah. All right. So we can work with it. All right. So we go there, just cup it and roll them.
Okay, that's
Right. And you can serve it. You're not only limited to spaghetti. You can use orchetti, which is an ear-like pasta, or it looks like the Pope's cap to me. You can use fusilli, a little less. Yeah, a little less than that.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Right. And that needs to roll a little bit tighter.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
We have a competition. Who does it better?
yeah. Nice. Go ahead, grab your stuff. Now, when you go to the restaurant and have them, sometimes you'll see they make the meatballs. You can either cook them in the sauce that you're making, right? But more often than that, the sauce is being used for multiple things. So you won't necessarily,
Combine food.
yeah. Some, they'll make the sauce and keep it separately, and then when the order comes in, they kind of mix them together.
Okay.
But when you're doing it at home, to save on space and time, you want to make your meatballs. It's best to let them sit for a little bit. You can leave them in the fridge and leave them uncovered so they kind of get the moisture from around it. The moisture, it dries out the surface a little bit and forms like a little pellicle, so it will hold its shape. And then while your sauce is cooking, after a couple hours of it being on the stove, you just drop them in and let them simmer in the sauce.
So we have 11, 12, 13, probably 14.
Yeah, we
This
got
could
enough.
even make 15.
Yeah, we can get. You can make them as big as you want or as small as you want.
Oops, I dropped a little piece.
All right, don't worry about it. All right, so
Yeah.
do me a favor. Let's just put these in the fridge and get ready to show you folks what we did, our sauce, how it came out. All right.
1, 2, 2.
And
Okay, I got this right.
all right. So thank you, my dear. For the big roundup, what we're gonna do is, can you bring my pasta over here? All right. So if you can come a little bit closer, we show our guests. This is what it looks like being cooked in the sauce.
So
And
about how long do we cook this for?
this was cooked for about, initially when I made it, it took about 2.5 hours before I added my meatballs and let them cook in there.
Okay.
It only took about 20 minutes for it to cook.
Okay, so
Right.
that's pretty good.
So what we're going to do is we're going to serve up a bowl of the pasta. All right.
Do this.
And our pasta here. What I did was I cooked it earlier and put a little bit of olive oil on there for us to make sure we do that. All right.
Da-da-dun.
And
Now it's time for the meatball.
right. So we have, earlier I was talking about meatballs in the oven versus in the stove. If you can tell just by looking on this, the meatballs. So now we're gonna add our meatballs to our plate. So we're gonna try and make it kind of sexy here. All right. Crowning achievement.
Okay, let's do this.
Right. And
Sauce.
yeah, we're gonna add our sauce over it. You notice how my sauce has reduced some, very thick and rich.
Okay.
All right. And then we're gonna add a little garnish here and a little.
Garnish there.
And you know what we needed? We should have gotten some cheese, right? But we can add that
Well,
as
it's
we
cheese
go
and the
along.
meatballs anyway. So.
There is.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right, let's have a go at them and see what they taste like. Just take a. Yeah, go ahead and try that. What do you think? It's good? You look like you're in heaven. Yeah, all right, let me try. All righty, folks. So that's it for today. Want to thank you very much for joining us. Had a wonderful time. Please remember, text adventure to 56651.
Make sure you donate.
All righty, it's for a worthy cause. Take care. We'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.
Every time I hear "See You on the Other Side," I have the Hamilton song in my head. See you.
I'm still drooling here. Hold on.
I know. and I love it, it's the little details that is clear that you are a real chef, in that in the twisting of the spaghetti when you lay it down for the presentation. Even that, it's like I love that. And it just I'm hungry.
I wanted to call out that Kim was sending a shout out on social media to you both, saying she was jealous that she didn't get to try it.
Well, once she gets to the DMV, or she can order it online, and who knows, maybe you, Leon, can make her a meal with it.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us again. Island Boy, please take a look at their materials. We have the website and links. The recipe is also on the website, so take a look. I love these meatballs. Now I'm gonna have to see if I can convince Mama Kong to make some. That'd be really fun. But thank you for joining us.
Our pleasure.
So thank you. I think we're now going to go to our auction stuff. Correct?
Yes. I
Yes,
think Mary
and
can help
Mary's
us
back.
with the auction. Hi, Mary.
Poor Mary's like hanging out, just hanging out.
Those meatballs, I'm ready to gnaw off my own arm. I'm so hungry now. I'm going right to the link, and I'm getting the recipe, and I'm gonna make that tonight. It's like the perfect rainy day food. I'm into that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
I liked how he said, don't overmix it because I like to see what I'm eating. That jumped out at me.
Yeah, and that little twist with the pasta, that was special.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm doing
That's
that.
how you know. People don't understand. It's like it is all about the little details. It is. It's if you get the details right, then I know you know how to do this stuff. And it's these tiny little things. Okay, so I know that we want to do a big push for our auction items, I believe, right, Leon?
Yeah. Do we have visuals, or am I just talking these through?
I believe there should be visuals.
Or you could just describe them really well.
It described them really well.
Look at that. See, you ask, and it presents itself. This is the magic of our stage management team. So thank you, stage management team, for putting that up for us. So Mary, you can probably help us with some of these too, right? So please jump in, because Leon is fantastic, but we'd love to hear you describe some of these things too.
Oh, I'm like, my eyes now are just
First spaghetti and meatballs,
now this gorgeous resort looking out over the water there in Puerto Vallarta. That is incredible.
Have you been there before, Mary?
I have never been. No, I've never been to Mexico. It's hard to say. Oh, look at that.
And I'm trying to remember. I don't have a note here about who donated each of the items, so I'm not going to do justice. Here's one of our puppets from Velveteen Rabbit. Mm-hmm. That was one of Chill's first shows with us.
And the sweetest production. That's just such a heartwarming story, and the visualization of that was gorgeous.
Yeah.
You can't tell here, kids. You got to get your parents to bid on this. it is a puppet. Like it opens, it talks. Like it can talk with your hand.
My son's gonna make me get this for him, I think, because he loves this thing, this dino. So, as you can see, I'm gonna stand up now because.
Oh my gosh!
I know. Do you all remember this? Because I wasn't here for this.
Yes, that was the fire.
I wasn't here for this either. Chill, don't feel bad.
Oh, see, you and I can be. We'll sit in the corner. You two, Leon and Mary, talk about this.
Well, it's just I remember distinctly because we were doing Alexander the Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, and then we had a fire, and we had to shut down until we could get the go-ahead from the county to reopen. But we did, and we continued the run, and this was one of the puppets, and this is another really great one, the koala from that show. Did you see it, Mary?
I did see that. He wishes he was in Australia.
Yeah.
And the book is by a local author. So, oh my gosh, so great.
This is also Velveteen Rabbit, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, because the big thing about the Velveteen Rabbit was that horse, the actual made with horse leather. The original book was, which we were like, no, we can't have that real, no. So we got this beautiful classic horse, yeah.
Oh, this one I remember. This one was donated by our board chair, Leslie Miles. She has a house down in North Carolina on the Outer Bank, and it's beautiful. And she actually does her board calls from down there when she can.
It's so not fair because you can be behind her.
We're all terribly jealous when she does that.
Jill, you got this one for us.
I did. Victoria Dummer, who was the primetime program head of primetime programming, was the one that got us this. This is I believe the third season of Blackish, and so there's a whole bunch of scripts that are signed, a lot of really cool mugs, and I think there are, beautiful tchotchkes that has Blackish all over it and signatures and signs. So take a look. It's a fun little packet.
And the Modern Family, I think, is from the final season, so that might have some value for the collectors out there.
Yeah. And then Cooking Class, Peruvian Brothers. Oh wow! I heard about
these were friends of Melissa Siegel's that she convinced to donate this.
That looks fantastic too.
Oh, and this is Melissa Siegel, right?
Yes, those are her fingers. In the background.
Those are not part of the item.
Yes, you don't get.
She does magic with her hands when she does the cooking class. That's what it is.
Mary, it's so interesting because you and I, we haven't had a chance to really spend that much time together. We've been like kind of, ships in the night. So it's just interesting to be in a digital room with you. So thank you for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I didn't realize you were a hometown boy until you just mentioned that. So
I grew up in a trailer park in what is now considered Northern Virginia, but when I grew up, it was not Northern Virginia.
I was just across the river waving at you from Bethesda.
So this can we pronounce this properly? Because I am afraid I'm going to say a bad word.
Is it a dom base?
Dom?
I don't know because this is like out of my price range normally.
We are so cultured. We are so cultured. As you can see, I am a trailer park kid. So do not ask me to pronounce this properly. But I believe it is a Dom Vas. Am I correct, Mary?
I think you're correct. It's beautiful. I love the color of it. And the texture is beautiful too.
So we've got a bunch of these. We've got like signed posters from various Broadway shows.
Glory Days.
Oh, wow.
We have an interview with Manu Narayan, who was in Glory Days. I think. Is that right? Am I right?
And Nick Blameyer is an alum.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
That's probably how we got the poster. This one was donated by Patty and Mitchell Herman. It's Costa Rica. It's usually one of our highest bid items every year. So we thank them for donating it year over year. And in fact, also Mitchell and Patty just made a donation online. So thank you for that as well.
Yeah. Oh, and Jennifer Knight, love you for donating. You are amazing. Thank you for sharing your artistry with us and for donating to Adventure. Thank you. Thank you.
This one's pretty straightforward.
Yes.
These ones apparently have like a huge value. They're like worth like $3,000.
Oh my
I want these.
Those are gorgeous.
They will look very pretty in my ears, I think.
Another signed poster.
That's pretty too.
Oh, these are beautiful. It's so funny. We've been so busy. I'm like, oh, we have that. Oh,
This one comes with airfare. So unlike our other trips, this is like a complete. This trip was donated, I believe, also by Melissa Siegel, and she was able to secure the airfare on this one. So once we're on the other side of COVID, this is going to be like a great getaway for someone.
Neil, I think we need to toss to we have an amazing supportive representative that's coming to us.
Yeah, I think Senator Lee sent greetings for us to see. So are we ready to watch that?
Yeah, let's roll. So there's like a 2 second so that we can actually fill the 2
Hello.
seconds. There you go.
I'm Maryland State Senator Susan Lee, and I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Adventure Theater, your leaders, your artists, and your supporters for hosting this Stream-a-thon, and for all the award-winning, wonderful, and stellar performances and productions which have enriched, delighted, and uplifted the lives of countless individuals, especially during this pandemic and these most challenging of times. My best wishes to everyone for a marvelous Stream-a-thon. And everyone, please stay safe and well.
Us back. Yay! So thank you all for joining us. We're going to do the handoff now. So for all of you, because we have to do every 2 segments, 2-hour segments, because technology won't allow us to do an entire 30-hour stream, we're going to hand off for every 2 hours, we're going to hand off to another video. So all of you who are on ClickBid, once we leave this and this video closes, give it about a minute, and then the next video will be put in there on ClickBid. You just have to
hit refresh.
Yes, you have to hit refresh on your ClickBid site, and the new video should pop right in. If it doesn't, just click refresh again a few times until it does, and it will. For everyone else, just go to the next either YouTube or Facebook live stream, and we should pop right up to the top, and just click on that and go live. But we're going to do a handoff for that live segment to the next piece. Again, please text adventure to 56651. Text adventure to 56651 to go to our donation site. I know that we have lots of people who are slowly kind of coming into this. We have an incredible 30 hours of lots of interesting things. If anyone donates more than $250, you get to tell me what you want me to sing at 4 a.m. I know you all won't be awake, which is why I did it that way.
I'm voting for the cabinet battle or any other duet. Any duet.
I love that everyone's like trying to make me sing duets. Like it's gonna be like I gotta. But
you have 2 cameras, Jill. You can do it.
Don't help, Marco. Come on.
Everyone should pick a duet.
So if you did donate more than $250, go ahead and put into the stream and we'll collect it. So just put in the stream whatever you want me to sing, and then I will sing it live at the 4 a.m. segment.
Can I do one happy announcement? Or do you want to do it here or the next thing?
Please, one happy announcement.
Next. Well, I would do it in the next room because people are already. But okay. Do it twice.
I'll do it twice. So
and then do it there.
We have a new member of the Adventure family. One of our board members, Christina Chang, her daughter, Kayla Rose Chang, was born on Thursday, February 18th, 6 pounds, 14 ounces.
Wow. Yay, Christina!
Yay, Kayla, welcome to the world.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. What a great way to end the first 2 hours. We're going to now start heading over. So please, this thing will turn off. We'll go off live, and we will be clicking on to the next one. Give us a few minutes for the transfer, but we're going to head on over to the next hour.
See you soon.
Bye.